We are now 2 weeks away before the season begins, where the house is revealed, the cast is revealed, and the show begins. And recently they decided to post a meme talking about that. A meme which says, calling Julie, so I can tell her to hurry up and arrive already. But the only reason why I'm focusing on this is because production decided to respond to someone saying, we could have had Thursday, June 26th, the time where the show used to start in late June. And production just decided to respond to that by saying, at least it's not July 26th. Again, just further antagonizing the audience, and they wonder why they're losing fans. Well, quite frankly, they're probably not wondering. It seems like they're actively trying to lose fans. Now, for the main focus, I want to talk about the BB27 clues that have been revealed. I also want to talk about more Big Brother house guests being on more shows, outside of the shows that I previously mentioned, like the American Gladiators, the uh, House of Villains, the Challenge. Uh, there's more shows that house guests are on. The Floor, 99 to Beat, and something called the 1% Club, where apparently Tyler from 20 is going to be on that. And then I also want to talk about another former house guest playing the game of Big Brother Life, Haley from 20, landing herself an NBA champion. Now, apparently, Alex Caruso won a champion during that whole bubble nonsense, which I don't see as a real championship. But, nonetheless, it's, I guess, recorded. But he got his first official ring with the Thunder. And I just have to say, Haley wasn't, she not only was she wasn't good, she was horrible in Big Brother. But in the Big Brother Life game, she's secured that bag, as they say, landing herself an NBA champion. A guy, from what I've seen, seems like uh, he'll make a coach or even an NBA analyst after the fact. And so, again, she played herself into the money, dropping Fessy. So you're probably not going to expect her being a part of any Big Brother cruises or any other Big Brother events now that she is won in the game. Because, with marriage, even if it doesn't work out, it still works out for the woman. And I also want to touch on Love Island, where apparently it's been announced that it's the second most watched streaming show in the United States. A show where it's basically a bunch of young people that the general public considers attractive, and it's surrounded by relationship drama. Who would have thunk it? Something like that works. Something that, Big Brother used to do. But it had an extra icing on the cake because it had competition, which, again, is something that they no longer have. Which brings me to the main point of this video, is to, mainly talk about the clues. And it's just a bunch of keys. Some people think it's going to be a whodunit type of situation. Me, when I see these keys, I just see multiple opportunities for production to help out whatever POC that they want to win this season. And so, again, just multiple opportunities. That, and I believe AI Arena will be brought back. I remember at the end of last season, they even talked about bringing that AI assistant thing back as well. And so that's all I really think about when I think about these keys. It's more opportunities for production to unlock fixes for whatever, production plant and POC winner that they want to have this season. Because clearly that is what drives the show. Which is why, Love Island is an actual successful show. I mean, because sure, they have their diversity there as well, but the fact that it's still centered around young, uh, what's considered attractive people, centered around relationship drama, it's what people want to see. Even when you have those who will complain about wanting an older cast, the reality is shows like The Bachelor has stuck around, continue to get sizable ratings when it airs, and Love Island being the second most watched streaming show is because people do ultimately like the relationship drama. Big Brother just always separated itself for having, for the most part, legit competition. Before production began to have more of a heavy hand, and especially before the diversity initiative, which has wiped away all strategy and gameplay. And in addition to that, it's also not just a bunch of people virtual signaling as POCs and for POCs. When they're not doing that, they're angling and positioning themselves to be a part of other shows. The two shows that I mentioned in this video, The Floor, 99 to Beat, those are both game shows. And every season a game show has a list of contestants. And it just so happens former Big Brother Houseguest contestants David Alexander and Tommy Boy, who come from the same season. David got an extra season being considered an all-star, which is laughable. But yeah, I mean, that's the other purpose of being on the show. You get on Big Brother so you can get on other shows. And that's when you're not also trying to grow your following, because you want to be a wannabe influencer with sponsorships, like Taylor Hill, for example, pushing the Lay's chips deal over and over again. Ultimately, nothing coming out of that. But as we've seen, production did reward her. Giving her interview duties for the house guests entering the house and allowing her to take over Dr. Will's spot at the jury roundtable. And yeah, I mean, that's what the show has been reduced to. And that's why it won't reach the levels that Love Island has been able to reach. Even though if people actually cared about the show and the audience were involved with the show, it could easily reach that. I always talk about how Big Brother is an extremely innovative show, especially when you see things like live streams and IRLs becoming more and more recently a prominent thing that people utilize. With the iShowSpeeds of the world and Kai Cenats and many others that's going down that path. Where, live streaming was, for the most part, just seen as something boring people would watch, maybe for the purpose of work or educational purposes. But Big Brother was ahead of the game in the year 2000 doing the live streaming. And I always thought it would be a cool idea if each house guest had a POV cam, and that would give them the opportunity to get in on the IRL thing. But instead of, capitalizing off of their innovative ways, while also, ingratiating themselves into what's currently going on, especially with the IRL stuff, instead of doing all of that, it's diversity quotas instead, and stupid, needless twists, which is obviously tools for production to use to advance their chosen ones, production plants and POC picks. you know. And it's really a shame, but again, once you just accept that the entire entertainment industry is laced with agenda driven narratives, then you just accept it for what it is. And quite frankly, you just tune in for the drama. Now, I don't generally care for drama, but drama in a fake competition setting, it's still interesting to me. It's kind of like, WWE. You get drama in a fake competition setting. Even though, hell, the pro wrestling is still realer than Big Brother, especially Big Brother in the POC diversity era. But again, what really matters, though, the Big Brother game of life, and Haley landing herself a champion, shows that, even if you stink at Big Brother, maybe you'll have a chance to play it better, Big Brother, outside of the house. I doubt somebody like Rubina will be able to pull off what Haley does. She is a 35-year-old feminist, non-traditional Filipina. What baller want to wipe that up? Who looks like a troll doll, too. But anyway, that's all I have to say about this.